Is this too loud or too quiet? Nicole thinks I'm always too loud, so this is too. Is this better?
You're fine.
This is fine. Much better. Okay. Nicole would rather I talk like this. She doesn't want to hear it. Well, thanks for having me. It's really nice to be here. Can everyone see me if I stay down here? I like to move around a lot. I've spent a lot of time in the car on my way here and pinned up inside my little seat. My wife doesn't let me move. She just makes me drive for 17 straight hours. It's tough. Hey, maybe not 17, slightly exaggerated. But no, it was great. It was great. It's nice to be here. Nice to be with you all. First time ever in Morgantown. First time ever at the Salvation Army in Morgantown. First time for a lot, so it's really nice to be here. It was actually a beautiful drive. We stayed at camp last night, so we woke up, we left the house around 7:30 this morning and drove through the mountains from camp to here. A lot of you have been to camp, so you know that drive. But the fog and to see the fog, and oh my goodness. But we got so high on one of the mountains that we were above the fog, so you could look down into the valleys and see the fog and beautiful blue skies, but then you would get back into the fog and you could barely see, I don't know, about 50 feet in front of you. It was pretty intense. My sermon title today, it's called No Way. No Way. And speaking of driving, I want to tell you of a no way situation I was in. There was no way I was getting out of this situation, at least not in a good way. And it involves me driving. This was much long ago. You need to know that yesterday my son told me to slow down while I was driving. He said we're going to either get a ticket or in a really bad accident. You need to slow down. So I did. I immediately slowed down and set the cruise control to 65, and we slow poked our way to wherever we were going. Yeah, 65 was so slow. So I usually drive pretty fast, and I can remember back to a time when I was 15 years old, so long before I met my wife, obviously before I had kids. 15 years old, we were living in Augusta, Georgia. I'm the son of Salvation Army officers as well. So I know right from wrong, I know what to do, what not to do, but I was one of those kids that if there was something that could be done wrong, or if you could do something in a bad way, then sign me up, I want to do it. And so we were driving, me and an older woman, girl, she was like in her 20s. We were having to go to Atlanta for something. And my parents let me ride with this girl. My parents were going to come to Atlanta as well, and they let me ride with this girl. And I convinced this girl in her 20s that I had my driver's permit. And I convinced her to let me drive. I did not have my driver's permit. I was 15. I was soon going to have my driver's permit, but I didn't have it yet. But I told her I did. She didn't ask to see it. I pulled a fast one on her, and she let me drive to her car to Atlanta. And so I'm driving and I'm tough stuff. I mean, I am as cool as can be. Well, look out. I'm on the highway, I-20, headed west from Augusta. And the lead foot that I am flooring it, right? Well, so I knew to slow down, you know, if I see a cop off in the distance and those kind of things. You know, the same thing you guys do when you guys are driving. And so I'm slowing down and, you know, whatever. But as I'm just riding and chilling, a bright yellow Ford Mustang pulls up beside me as I'm driving. I'm going around chilling, and this Mustang was loaded with cute girls. And they flew past me. And again, being the young, immature, 15-year-old, high on hormones boy that I was, I took my right foot and I pushed it down. And I'm going to catch up to this yellow Mustang. And I floor it, and we're trying to catch up. And just as I'm getting close to this yellow Mustang, I'm thinking, oh, I'm gonna, you know, make an impression. I don't know. I'm gonna say hi to her. You know, what are you thinking? What are you gonna do when you're 15 years old? Really? What are you gonna do? I look in my rearview mirror, and what do I see? Not just any cop, but a Georgia State Trooper. I mean, they have nightmare stories about these guys. You don't get away from these guys. They do not let you off the hook. And as I'm looking in my rearview mirror, I look down at my speed gauge. I'm going 95 miles an hour. So I do what anyone would do. I floor. No. I pull over. And I know I'm busted, right? I mean, I'm 15 years old. I don't even have a license. I don't even have a permit. And so as I'm pulling over, I tell the girl that's beside me in the car, I was like, Miranda, I lied. I don't have my permit. Like, I'm freaking out, you know? She's like, why are you getting it? It's like, yeah, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what we're going to do. So I immediately get out of the car, which, again, you shouldn't do. Immediately get out of the car to go tell the guy, I don't know. He's like, put your hands up. I'm like, I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There is no way I'm getting out of this, right? I mean, no way. So he's talking to me. He asks to see my license and ID. Of course, I tell him I don't have it, all that stuff. And he's just kind of like, are you crazy? Like, do you know that I can ruin your entire driving record? I can lock you up for danger, what do they call it? Reckless endangerment driving. Yeah. Do you know that this could, put a big spot on your record for years to come, and you're only 15 years old? There's no way I'm getting out of this. So I just kind of brace myself for the worst, and I'm expecting any moment my parents to drive by because they're on the same road. It's just nightmare, right? And he pulls the lady out of the car, Miranda. He pulls her out. He says, ma'am, are you aware that he doesn't have his permit? She said, he just told me as we were getting pulled over. I said, I did. I'm so sorry. And he said, you need to get back in that car. He's talking to her. And you need to drive. And you need to tell this little boy to sit in the passenger seat and to slow down. So I'm just kind of standing there, yes sir, being very polite, and that's it. No ticket, no jail, no handcuffs, no nothing. He just tells her to get back into the driver's seat, me to get in the passenger seat, and a Georgia State Patrol, a state trooper, going 95 miles an hour as a teenage little boy, gets out of it. There's no way that happens. There have been other no-way moments in my life, some a little bit more God-ordained, I believe. There was a time where I got to travel overseas. This is now in my older teens, maybe around 19 years old. And I got to travel overseas with the Salvation Army missions team. For 6 weeks, we're over there. We were in Moldova. It's in Eastern Europe. You've never heard of it, probably. But it's all good. They speak Russian. And so we're at this place, and we are going to go and travel up to their camp, kind of like Camp Tomahawk. We're going to travel to their camp to go do some summer activities for the people that are out there at the camp. But to get to their camp, you have to actually leave the country of Moldova. Leave that country, and it's kind of like sometimes when you come, you drive through here. When I'm leaving Baltimore, sometimes I'm in Maryland, sometimes I'm in West Virginia, sometimes it's back in Maryland, that kind of. So as I'm driving in this other place, I'm not driving, I'm riding this time. As we're riding, we have to kind of leave out of the country into another country and then back into Moldova. It just so happens this other country that we have to just weave into is at war. And so to get into that country, you have to go through a military checkpoint because they're at war. And so as we're doing that, one of the first things, I had never really traveled overseas, one of the first things they taught me with going overseas was your passport is your life. Yes. And you never let go of your passport. You never give up your passport. In fact, I bought one of those little secret belts that I'm sure no one knows about. Everyone's got to know about themselves. And you put it under your clothes and you put your passport in it and you zip it up. To keep it with me at all times, to never leave without it. It's, unless I'm in the shower, that thing is on me right here. Never lose it, always there. Well, here we are this day, this very first time going to this checkpoint, going to this camp, and we come up to the checkpoint, and I'll never forget this. We're rolling down this steep hill, and I can see ahead of us, there's a bridge, and there's tanks, military tanks, and you see like the barbed wire stuff with the big arms and all those kind of things. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be crazy. And I'm up for adventure, so I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit of fun. So we're rolling down, and guys with machine guns and barking dogs calls the car to stop. So we're stopped on the middle of this bridge. And this isn't just like a bridge, like just around here. No, this is an extremely high bridge. Like to jump off is not an option. The water looks like the tiny little creek running below it because you're so high. And we're in the middle of this bridge. And these dogs are snarling at our door. And the guy with the machine gun sticks his gun in at the driver's door, and he says something in a language I don't understand to our driver/translator. And our driver turns around to us and he says, everyone, pass up your passports. Are you kidding me? Like, this is the #1 lesson like people taught me when I was coming to this country. Like, don't give up your passports. Don't do it. Don't. And here I am, like, as soon as someone asks, I'm like, here. Like, and so we do. All of us in the van, we all set up our passports. There's like 8 of us in there. He has a stack of these passports, and they walk away. We're just sitting there while other guys are looking all in our van with, machine guns pointed. It's like, man, this isn't good. Well, the guy comes back, says some stuff pretty mean to the driver, and the driver then turns around and translates to us. He goes, everybody get out. Oh, that's not a good sign, right? Should everybody get out, or everybody were okay, let's keep on going. He said, no, everybody get out. So we get out, and they point to the trunk of this van that we're in. They said, we got to unload the van. And so we do. We open up the trunk, and we have all of our team bags where we have some of these temporals in there, and we had puppets in there, and soccer balls. I mean, we're going to do kid stuff, And so we unload, they search through all the stuff, and they're talking to our translator, and then finally our translator says, okay, you can load it all back up. We can all get back in. And I'm like, wait, what about our passports? And then like right before we pull away, they bring back our passports to the driver, they hand them all, and we're free to go. Now we have to make this trip several times. But it was this second trip that we had to make at this checkpoint that really concerned me. You see, this one wasn't in the daytime like our first one. This one was at night. But thankfully, this one wasn't with as many people. There was just 3 of us. There was Sasha, our driver translator, me, and another guy named Jonathan. This wasn't like me saying, oh, and I'm that Jonathan. No. It was me and another guy named Jonathan. This guy, as we are rolling down this long hill to this checkpoint, they can see our headlights by now. And as we're rolling down, the other Jonathan goes, oh, I don't have my passport. My first thought, instant thought, is let's stop, we'll turn around, we'll go get it. But no. This country's at war. When they see a vehicle come to a checkpoint and stop and turn and run away, they are on high alert for that. So turn around is not an option. So we keep coming down, and I'm frantic. And I ask Sasha, what are we going to do? He said, pray. Pray. I pray before I eat. I pray before I go to bed. I might pray at a funeral. That's as much as I pray. I grew up son of a preacher, man. I get it. Pray. I know that's the right thing. But Sasha, this is real. They got real guns, real tanks, real dogs, real checkpoint. They're at war. And you just want to say the Christian word to me? Pray? Are you kidding me? Pray. And as we're about 100 yards away, you want to know what I did? I prayed. I did. Because there's no way we're getting out of this in a good way. I'm thinking jail time. We don't have cell phones back then. I'm in another country anyways. I don't know who to call. We're just stuck. And we pull up. As bright as can be, with all these spotlights in the middle of the night. We pull up on this bridge, and I'm just freaking out. Dogs, machine guns, stick their gun in the driver's window. Says something in a language I don't understand. The driver takes the car, puts it back in the drive, and starts driving away. I said, Sasha, what are you doing? What happened? He said, we're free to go. I was like, no check, no get out, no passports, no nothing? No, we're free to go. Oh my gosh. There's no way that can happen. There's no way. You see, there are plenty of moments probably in your life, just kind of like mine, where you've been in a situation where it's just there's no way that I get out of this in a good way. There's no way that this happens with a positive outcome. There's no way. There's no way. To drive this point home a little bit further, and before we crack open our Bibles, I want to show you a quick video of a pretty cool no way moment. Let's watch.
Jesus, I just don't trust you.
You don't trust me?
No, I want to trust you. I just don't.
I have an exercise that I think will really help you.
Oh, okay.
Stand here and face this direction. Mm-hmm. Now, do you trust me?
No. I just said I don't trust you.
All right, well, this is all part of the exercise.
Oh,
all right?
Okay.
Whenever I ask you if you trust me, you say, yes, Jesus, I trust you.
Even though I don't.
It's practice.
Okay.
So, do you trust me?
Yes, Jesus, I trust you.
Now, fall back.
Are you going to catch me?
Don't worry about that part.
Okay, that's the part I'm worried about.
You can do this, okay? Just trust me.
Trust you.
Fall back.
Okay, well, Jesus, I trust
Good.
you. Yes. do trust you. I'm gonna fall
Okay.
back. Woo!
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Let's try this again. Just face this direction and keep your feet planted. All right? Do you trust me?
Yes, Jesus, I trust you.
Now, fall back.
Okay, I'm gonna do it.
All right.
I'm really gonna do it. Okay.
Good.
Oh, Jesus, you really caught me! I didn't think you were gonna catch me, but you did!
Oh, that was great!
That was great!
You're ready for level 2.
Level 2, here
Yes.
I come, baby!
Whoa.
Woo! Whoa!
Okay, hold it.
Oh, you know what? You're too close. You need to move back.
Ah, right.
Okay.
This one's a little bit different, Laura.
Okay.
Stand here,
Uh-huh.
but face me.
Woo! Forward fall. I
Okay.
can do that.
Wait.
Whoa.
Okay, wait for my signal.
Oh, right, the Jesus signal.
Yes, the Jesus signal. Do you trust me?
Yes, Jesus, I trust you so much.
Good. Fall back.
That's awesome.
It is awesome, especially when you do it.
Seriously?
Of course.
Okay, Jesus, I don't know if you noticed this, but there is nobody over there.
I know it looks that way to you.
It looks that way. It is that way.
You can do this, Laura. Just trust me and fall back.
Jesus, I can't do that.
We can do it together.
I can't.
You can.
I won't.
I'm sorry that says the preview version. I do have the paid for version. There's no way. There's no way I'm falling back. I don't see how it can come out right. There's no way. Yeah, I trust you when I can see you. But when it doesn't make sense to me, no way. No way. Hold that thought. Open your Bibles, if you would. We're in the beginning of the Bible here, 2 Samuel, chapter 23. 2 Samuel. It's here towards the front. 2 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 20. 2 Samuel, chapter 23, verse 20. If you forget where we're at, ask your neighbor. You're allowed to talk in church just today only, okay? Just today. I'll let the Lieutenant Nicole kept talking in church when I'm not here. Just today. 2 Samuel chapter 23. If she gives you a hard time, you call me. I'll take care of it. All right. 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 20 says this. Oh, this is one of my most favorite characters in the Bible. I don't know why. I mean, I have lots of reasons, but I just felt like you should know that. 2 Samuel chapter 23, verse 20 says this, Benaiah. Everyone say Benaiah. Benaiah. That's not a word you say every day, is it? Nope. Benaiah. Say it one more time. Benaiah. That's just because he's my favorite character. Thanks. Benaiah, son of Jehoiada, was a valiant fighter from Kabzeel, who performed great exploits. He struck down 2 of Moab's best men. He also went down to a pit on a snowy day and killed a lion. And he struck down a huge Egyptian. Although the Egyptian had a spear in his hand, Benaiah went against him with a club. He snatched the spear from the Egyptian's hand, and he killed him with his own spear. Such were the exploits of Benaiah, son of Jehoiada. He too was as famous as the 3 mighty men. He was held in greater honor than any of the 30, but he was not included among the 3. And David put him in charge of his bodyguard. Benaiah. One more time. Say the name Benaiah. Benaiah. Good job, front row. Oh, yeah. They like talking in church. You're pretty good. My goodness. Benaiah. 3 exploits they talk about here. 3 of them. Number 1. It was 2 verse 1. Now, I don't know about you. Raise your hand if you gamble in here. Oh, my goodness. No, it's in church. You can't raise your hand if you gamble in church. Oh, great. My son's the only one who raises his hand. I'm hopeless. All right, so I'm not advertising that you gamble, okay? Everyone understands and agrees with that. But if we did, if we were placing money on odds, if we had to take a bet, and there's a fight, and it's got 2 warriors against 1 untrained person, you would probably be inclined to bet that the 2 trained warriors are going to beat the 1 untrained warrior. That's just common sense. Can I get some head nods with that? Is that where you're laying your money down? If it's your rent check, you putting it on the 2 guys versus the 1 guy? Nope, I got 1 guy saying no. Okay, that's good. You got some odds. I'm going to get your money. Thank you. I'm glad you're going against it. Yeah, you know? And it's 2 versus 1. 2 guys, 1 guy. There's no way that he's getting through this. But we see in the Word that he does. Man, strike 1 for him. Good for you. Another time, him and a tall Egyptian. This is the last one there. It talks about, we're skipping the line. Him and a tall Egyptian. This is almost like David and Goliath. This guy is actually pretty tall, not as tall as Goliath. They say Goliath was somewhere between 7 and 10 feet. Is that your number? Yeah. This guy, a little bit shorter than Goliath, but still a very tall Goliath-like person, with a really long, sharp, pointy, heavy spear. Benaiah with really small club. Everyone know what a club is? I mean, do we have a club? Oh, can I use a candle? Oh, I can't use a candlestick, but it's about as long as this. Look at this. What's Nicole going to do to me? I'm afraid of club a little bit longer than this. A long, pointy spear, Egyptian warrior, one of the greatest warriors, versus Benaiah with a club. This. What happens? Who are you putting your money on? Not Benaiah. But he won. It says he snatched the spear and he killed the guy and he won. And then one more. He's with a lion in a pit on a snowy day. Guys, I'm betting lion every time. There's no way you come out with this. Well, we read that he did. Such were the exploits of Benaiah. Folks, there are endless stories in this Bible of moments just like that, where people are in situations where it is no way they are coming through this. At least not positively. But somehow, time and time and time again, they make it. But then when it comes to your life and my life, and we find ourselves in a situation where there is no way we are coming through it, where there's no way this can happen. There's no way that I'm going to be able to face school with this. There's that kid that we talked about in Sunday school, Sheldon. He thought there's no way I can face tomorrow, and took his life in his own hands. We have our teenagers who think there's no way that I can face school like this. We have our young adults who think there's no way I'm getting married. Or there's no way I can make it into that school, that college. There's no way I can get this job. Some of us adults, there's no way the finances are going to add up. There's no way that my family member is going to make amends with the family. There's no way my mother or father is going to get over this sickness. There's no way that this comes out good. And we believe it. We believe the no ways. But yet we sit here every Sunday and Wednesday. You come Wednesdays? Sundays and Wednesdays, and we read it where it happens over and over and over again, where the no way happens. But when it's our own life, we just say, no way. No way. I want you to leave today with one more scripture. And maybe not even a full understanding of this scripture, but a reminder of this scripture and an appreciation for it. If you would just flip one more time to Isaiah chapter 55. It's in the middle of your Bible here as we wrap this up. And Sheldon's going to start playing for us here. Isaiah 55. Isaiah chapter 55. Look there at verse 8. Some of you folks, when you find yourself, maybe you're in a no-way situation right now. And some of you are believing the lie, you're believing the story that there's no way. God, I believe that you will be there when I can see you. When I have to fall and you're not there, no way. Listen to the thoughts or the words of the Lord. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8. This is the Lord talking. He's saying to you and to me, for my thoughts are not your thoughts. And my ways, they're not the same as your ways, declares the Lord. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts from your thoughts. Folks, this is the Lord speaking. This isn't Jonathan. This isn't Captain Howell. This is the word of the Lord speaking to you today. To your no-way situation. Maybe you're not in a no-way. Maybe your life's perfect. Maybe it's for your neighbor's no-way situation. Or a family member's no-way situation. This is the word of the Lord speaking to you and to them. Saying, my thoughts are not your thoughts. The way that you think this should happen, it's not the same way that I think it should happen. The way that you think this plays out safely, it's not the same way I think. The way that you would do this, your ways are not my ways. I have different ways. They might not make sense to you. They certainly look kind of crazy in the Word. Your thoughts are not my thoughts. And your ways, they're not the same as mine. But what I can promise you is that His thoughts are better than yours. And His ways are superior to yours. He says, as the heavens are higher than the earth, which once you find heaven, you let me know. So are my thoughts higher than yours, and my ways higher than yours. Folks, I don't come here claiming to understand it all. When you stand like this and you see Jesus in front of you, and He says to fall back, I don't claim to know how He's going to get back there. All I can tell you is I read a word and stories after stories after stories of times where He makes it. I read a story where time after time people fall and God catches them. Why won't He do it for you? Today, as we wrap up our time today, as the altar is open, should you want to come and pray, maybe not just for yourself, but for someone that you know that's in a no-way situation, that you would come today and declare and trust and believe that His ways are not our ways. And that we would say that we have faith that He would get us through our no ways. Sheldon plays this song and just asks for you to pray. If you'd like to come forward and pray, we'll sing It's Your Breath in Our Lungs. Pour out our praise to our Heavenly Father. Let's pray.